Hello, everyone. Hello. Let's wait a few more minutes. I got in 8 minutes early to make sure that everything is working fine. So let's wait a few more minutes for people to join. Perfect. Hello. Hi, Sonia. Nice to see you again. Hello, hello. 11 people. Fantastic. I was early this time, so I don't miss 1 second of this. Hello, Mike. Glad to see you here. Hello. Watching from Switzerland. Hi, Maria. What about the rest? Where are you watching from? We have people from Australia, Switzerland. Right, where are you watching this from, guys? Hello from New York. Hi, Maria. Wow. So nice that we're doing this again. Hello from Canada. Hi, Jason. Hi, Lynn. 2 people from Canada. Wow. Hello from the US. And if you guys, if you were in my last live that I did 1 week ago, remember I had some problems with the sound, but this time I made sure I have a microphone because I want to make sure that the sound is perfect. USA. Hi, Perry. I love your classes. Thank you so much, Maria. Thank you for being here. Let's wait 6 more minutes for people to join because initially I said 5 o'clock, or I mean, it's 5 o'clock here, so that everyone can join. And just, I always like to go in a bit earlier to make sure that everything is working fine, because I had one live, if you guys remember, in May, where I couldn't connect. I had some technical difficulties and I was late for almost half an hour, which is not me. Hello from Michigan. Awesome that we're doing this. I'm very excited for this. Very excited for this. 10:54 in New York. How's the weather in New York right now, Maria? Is it, I mean, it should be great. Here in Denmark, it has been raining a lot, but tomorrow it's actually going to be super good weather, so I'm going swimming. Cloudy. 00:54 in Australia. Wow. Thank you for joining, even though it's so late. I will try to make this as valuable as possible, and I really appreciate that you're staying so late for this live. Celebrating the Knicks victory. I saw that, actually. I saw this. I mean, I'm not familiar with the whole with everything, but I saw it on TikTok. It was a huge thing. I learned a lot from you. I just started April, but watched your videos first because I even tried my first patches. Thank you for all the knowledge you imparted. Thank you, Maria. I'm glad to hear that. Tell me, what were your first batches? What did you make first? Hi, Perry from Mississippi. Hi, Marie. Nice to see you. Southern California mountains. Whoa, amazing. Big parade today. Let's wait 3 more minutes and we start. You see here I have my oils. And, you know, when I started making soap, it was winter time when I first made soap for the first time. And I had coconut oil. Coconut oil was solid. And then once summer came, I didn't know that coconut oil actually melts. And I picked up a bucket of coconut oil and I accidentally spilled down a lot of it because it was liquidy and I didn't expect it. So I'm always very, very careful with coconut oil now. You see, I've made a lot of mistakes, so you don't have to. I've been making soap for 25 years. Wow, you're more experienced than I am. distilled water with turmeric, but I normally use frozen Swiss milks. Ooh, that's really good. So instead of using water for your lye solution, you use frozen milk. This is great because milk creates an amazing, smooth and silky lather. I like to make soap with coconut milk because coconut milk is very fatty. It has a lot of fat. It's very thick and it creates an amazing silky lather. I even made once soap with coconut milk and beef tallow. This is very long lasting, very creamy because of beef tallow, high in palmitic and stearic acid, and very silky because of coconut milk. I've still learned a lot from you, Perry. Thank you. That means a lot. Even though you're so experienced, it means a lot that you're still learning. Hello, Yasuniko. Hello. I'm always learning. Hi, Perry from Czechia, Czech Republic. Perfect. I like making goat milk soap with frozen goat milk. Yes. Good morning from Canada. Hello, Theodora. Nice that you joined. Yeah, goat milk is also a great milk to use for soap making. I mean, you can use any milk basically, but coconut milk is my preference. Good morning, Marie. Cool. One more minute and we start. Have you tried using beer? Actually, no. I've checked the process of making beer soap. You actually need to evaporate the alcohol first. Of course, you can heat the beer, you can boil it a bit, or you can just leave it on a tray overnight. And then you can use that as lye water, but no, I've never done it actually. Have you tried it? And how was it, if you have? Did it make any difference to the lather? Hello, Catherine. So glad to be here, excited to learn. I'm very excited for this. This is gonna be phenomenal. This is gonna be awesome. I'm very grateful. Okay, let me just share this. Cool. June 18th Masterclass. So how many of you joined the Masterclass 1 week ago? Just write, just thumbs up in the chat if you joined the last Masterclass, or thumbs down if you didn't. Because if you didn't join, we're gonna have a very, very quick recap. We're gonna spend 5 minutes talking about the reflections and the learnings from the previous week. This is a great channel. I came here to learn about the chemistry aspects. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. It's been very helpful. Good morning from Dallas, Texas. Good morning. Perfect. One person. No worries. No worries that you guys missed out. That's why we're here. Perfect. No worries that you missed out, because we're going to spend 5-10 minutes doing a recap, sharing our reflections and what we learned from last time. So let's get started. Thumbs up if everything is good with the sound. I made sure this time I'm using a microphone, external microphone. Just write thumbs up if everything is good with the sound and all is well, and with the video and everything. And I'll start right away. Cool. I'm starting. So I've been interacting with you guys for a long time. I've started posting on TikTok a year ago, and I've started posting on YouTube long format videos beginning of January this year. And that means that I've been interacting with you through comments, through emails, through chat, and through those lives, and also through the physical workshops I'm doing from time to time. So I'm also doing some physical workshops with maximum 10 people, and those are also very insightful. And that means that I get to hear your biggest frustrations. I get to hear your biggest pain points. And I basically took all of these frustrations and I tried to categorize them. I tried to find out what are the three biggest pain points that soap makers have, no matter what level you are, whether you're a beginner soap maker, a medium level soap maker, or an advanced soap maker. And I found out that there are three main pain points that soap makers have. The first one is oil selection overwhelm. And this is very important. This is basically when you have, when you want to start making soap or other skincare, and you go online, you go to your supplier, and you see that they have hundreds of different oils, hundreds of different ingredients, and you feel the need that you want to buy everything. And I received a message a few days back, and this is very insightful actually, from William. And William told me that he made soap for the first time and he loved it, and that he spent $1,500 for crazy stuff, meaning oils and stuff like that, that he said that I'm not even going to use. And this is not the first time I'm seeing messages like that. This is not the first time I'm seeing people saying that they spent a huge amount of money on the first month of soap making. So William started making soap literally last month, and he spent $1,500 to buy a lot of ingredients and a lot of oils, because there is a wide selection of it. So this is a common trap, and it has happened to many people. It has also happened to me. When I started out soap making, I want to experiment with everything. I want to buy all of the different oils. And I started buying things that then I realized that I didn't need. I started buying things that exotic sounding oils that added no value to my soap. So let me just catch up with your comments really, really fast. Thank you for teaching about fragrance, essential oil combination. Thank you. Thank you, Claudia. I make melt and push soaps, but your class have helped me a lot. Thank you. Hope you can start making cold process soap soon, or hot process. That's the cool part I've been learning about from this channel, choosing fragrances that last longer. Thank you. Perfect. I'm very glad to hear that. Audio is excellent. Super. Cool. So write down, guys. Write down if you have also been confused about oil selection. If you have also been confused about which oils to buy, which oils to get, and finding yourself wanting to buy basically everything because you feel like you need everything to make a great soap. I went crazy buying many different fragrances. Oh, that's, yeah, we've all been there. You have to look at my closet. I have a closet full of fragrances and essential oils. I'm only confused about temperature. I actually have a slide on that. I have a slide on temperature, so we're gonna go deep on that. Cool. Now, the second pain point that I saw people having is everything around scent. And I'm not only talking about how you make scent long-lasting, I'm talking about how you avoid trace acceleration. This is something that, happens a lot. How you make the actual, essential oil blend. Because if you just mix different essential oils together, you might not get the blend and the scent profile that is a scent profile that is desirable. So you also have to make the right combinations. Choosing oils is confusing. I bought too many based on YouTube videos instead of actual knowledge. Yes. I was confused about oil selection, except that I found you first and did not waste any money. However, I used to make body soap with 100% coconut oil. Hi, Michelle. Really nice that you joined. Yes, it's a big problem, but I'm glad you didn't waste any money on oil selection. And 100% coconut oil soap is it's a bit tricky because it can be very drying for the skin. So 100% coconut oil soap is great for the dishes, to clean the dishes. I find I have to use restraint when it comes to the fragrances. Yes, Yeah, we all do. It can be very addicting. Yes, I have tried several exotic oils and butters. Now I know better thanks to you. Great. 5 p.m. here in South Africa. Oh, great. It's 5 p.m. here in Denmark as well. And the third pain point is additives and troubleshooting, because trust me, making soap with olive oil, coconut oil, and shea butter is one thing. Making soap with coconut milk, with certain additives like honey, with certain essential oils that can cause trace acceleration is a completely different scenario. Or making soap with Himalayan salt, which is a very unique soap, or making a dual-eye shaving soap. These are more unique soaps that need more special treatment. And then troubleshooting is a whole area on its own, because you know, the idea is here is that you are able to basically diagnose when things go wrong and troubleshoot on the spot, so you don't waste a batch. Hello from Colombia. Cool. And very fast here on my story. My story with soap making started back in 2013. So I was a freshman in chemical engineering department of the university, the Technical University of Athens. And back then I was the type of guy who would wash with an all-in-one shampoo, basically, that is both a shampoo, a conditioner, and a body soap. So I wasn't really picky on what soap I would use. And so I would just wash with synthetic surfactants, basically. And then I got into university, and we had organic chemistry course, and I saw the saponification reaction for the first time. And the saponification reaction is what really got me interested in soap making. So this is basically the first time that I got interested in soap. It wasn't through the fact that I made soap, you know, I tested the soap and I loved it. It was first through the saponification reaction, and afterwards finding basically a very old olive oil soap from my grandmother that I found in our summer house, and I loved it, and I wanted to then get more into soap making. So this is how my story started. Hello, a friend needs soap, but it's allergic to coconut oil. Is there a recipe to leave this out? Absolutely. You don't need coconut oil to make soap. You can make soap without coconut oil. I'll go into that in 1 second. Perry, if you were to use clay as an additive, would you add them to the oils or to the butter? That's a good question. One thing that you can do is that you can add it in the essential oil blend. And then add the essential oil blend, mix it well, and then add that into the soap butter. So different soap makers use different techniques. So it's what fits you the best, actually. Even if you add it a trace in the soap butter directly, that would still be okay. But bear in mind that clay might create a bit of clumps, so you might want to dissolve it first in the essential oils or in some oil before you put it in the soap butter. I have added clay in the past directly as a powder, and it didn't create clumps, but bear in mind that I have also heard a lot of people saying that they have problems with it and that it has created clumps. So it's better to dissolve it first in a bit of liquid or in some essential oils. Cool. Let me just show you very here. So someone asked about coconut oil, if we can remove coconut oil from our soap. And here's the thing. So you can see here, you can make different types of soap. You can make soap with normal soap. You can make sensitive skin soap. You can make exfoliating soap, shaving soap, face soap, dish soap, and so on. Let's say that you want to make sensitive skin soap, because that's the most important one here. So Soap Hub will give you basically a recommendation here, and it will tell you that in order to make sensitive skin soap, you should avoid coconut oil. Why you should avoid coconut oil? Because coconut oil is high in lauric and myristic acid, and when those react with lye, they produce basically a lot of bubbles. Coconut oil is what leads to a lot of bubbles and cleansiness. So remember, coconut oil equals bubbles. And if you have a lot of bubbles, your skin might get dry. So coconut oil can be drying. So you can still make a phenomenal soap without coconut oil. You don't need coconut oil to make a great soap, because you can still make a soap suitable for sensitive skin that has olive oil, shea butter, and castor oil. If you like beef tallow, you can also use beef tallow instead of shea butter, and you could even make soap with 100% beef tallow. A lot of people make this soap. You can even make soap with 100% cocoa butter. I wouldn't really recommend making soap with 100% shea butter, because shea butter has a higher concentration of unsaponifiables, meaning substances that do not saponify well. But it's a great ingredient to have in lower concentrations. So to your answer, your friend can make a soap without coconut oil with either 100% olive oil, which is the typical Aleppo soap, or with olive oil, shea butter, and castor oil. And if we just look very quickly here what each oil does, you will see that in general, we have 4 categories of oils. Category number 1 is conditioning oils. And here you have many different ones like olive oil, sunflower oil, avocado oil, and so on. I like to use olive oil, of course, because it's very conditioning, high in oleic acid and low in linoleic acid. That's what you want, because linoleic acid will lead to rancidity. And then category number 2 is basically oils that are high, that are very cleansing. So coconut oil, babasu oil, palm kernel oil, and so on. And then you have category 3, which is oils that add creaminess and hardness to your soap, like shea butter, cocoa butter, lard, beef tallow, palm oil, and so on. And then you have the last category, which is categories that are high in ricinoleic acid, and those add a lot of richness and thickness to your lather. Okay, let me just read really fast here. I'm not surprised that is oil that you use for dissolving clay from a batch or extra oil? It's from the oils you use to make soap. So you can take it. You can either take a bit from your batch and dissolve there the clay, or just take some olive oil, for example, from the oils that you measured to make your batch and dissolve it there. I'm not surprised that coconut oil can be drying for the skin. I used to use it on my skin as a moisturizer. Within a few hours, my skin was just as dry as it had been before I used the coconut oil. Yes. I have been told that adding kaolin clay will help with bubble. Yeah. So also sugar. Yeah, sugar helps with bubbles. That's true. It helps with increasing the lather. I used to buy so many fragrances and test them that it ran all the mosquitoes out of town. My neighbors loved it. A lot of bugs don't like essential concentrated oils. That's true, especially like the more citrusy ones. Mosquitoes don't like them. I'm from Greece, and in Greece during the summer we have a lot of mosquitoes. So I really know what you're talking about here. Cool. So let me go back to the presentation and go back to the recap, so we can start with afterward with the troubleshooting. Perfect. And as you all know, my aim with this channel is to go from type 1 soap maker to type 2 soap maker. That's the transformation that I want to see people go into. Type 1 soap maker is the soap maker who copies recipes without understanding what's going on, without understanding why they add each ingredient. And when things go wrong, they don't know how to troubleshoot. While type 2 soap maker is the soap maker who understands every ingredient and diagnoses failures immediately, and they can design their own recipes from scratch. So that's why we're here. I want you to be the type of soap maker that doesn't just copy recipes without understanding what each ingredient does, that doesn't just go online, find random recipes and follows them without knowing what's going to happen, but someone who designs their own recipes based on their own goals and can actually tweak the ratios because they decided that, for example, they want less coconut oil because they have sensitivity and they don't want something drying. Or maybe they want something that is super creamy and they decide to increase the shea butter or the beef tallow or the cocoa butter concentration. Or they are working with a high concentration of olive oil and therefore they know that they have to cure the soap for minimum 6 months because olive oil takes a lot of time to basically become soap crystals. And if you use it before that, it will feel very slimy. So here's the recap from last time. We talked about saponification. And here you don't need the chemistry degree to understand this. As I said last time, we looked at the saponification, how simple it is actually. And saponification, with very few words, is basically transformation. That's what saponification is for me. It's the science of transformation, because you're taking oils like olive oil or shea butter, and you transform them into something completely different. And that's what's fascinating about soap making. In other skincare products like hand creams, lip balms, deodorants, you don't have a chemical reaction, you don't have a transformation. You just take your oils and you mix them together in their raw form. But in soap, you have a transformation, you have a chemical reaction. Your oils are transformed to something completely new called soap. We talked about fatty acid profile, how important that is. We talked about how to choose the right oils. And then we gave live recipe feedback where you gave me your recipes, and we also did Q&A. So quick recap here on the fatty acid profile. Basically, you can see oleic acid, olive oil is high in oleic acid, and once oleic acid reacts with sodium hydroxide, which is what converts oils into soap, it basically creates this sodium oleic substance, and this is what gives conditioning properties to your lather. Coconut oil. Coconut oil is high in lauric and myristic acid. Once they react with sodium hydroxide, otherwise known as lye, they give sodium laurate and sodium myristate, and those are what gives bubbles to your lather. So when I make dish soap, and my dish soap looks like that, this is how my dish soap looks like. I make it in a coconut shell. People always ask me, Perry, you make soap with 100% coconut oil. Won't this clog the drains and the pipes? And I say, no, it won't, because I don't have any coconut oil in the final product. I make it with coconut oil, but the soap does not contain any coconut oil. It has all transformed into the saponified version of coconut oil. So coconut oil reacts with lye to create basically sodium laurate and sodium myristate. So there is no coconut oil left in here. And that's why it doesn't clog the pipes, because the saponified version of coconut oil is actually extremely water soluble, so it won't clog the pipes. Right, yes, if you're following. Yes, great. Yes, super. And as I said, that's basically the 4 categories of oils we have. We have conditioning, cleansing, creaminess, and thickness. And that's all you need. You don't need anything more, which means that you can choose basically one oil from each category. So that's why I always tell people, in order to make any type of soap, whether it's shaving soap, sensitive skin soap, even soap for the floor, normal soap, face soap, whatever it is, exfoliating soap, you only need 4 oils. One that is conditioning, one that is cleansing, one that is adds creaminess and structure, and one that adds thickness and richness to your lather. And you have everything you want. That's why you don't need to buy 100 different oils. And we will discuss also about which oils to avoid in a moment. Cool. So let's go to today's session, which is all about troubleshooting. And somebody in the chat said something about temperature. I want to know about temperature. We're lucky you, because right now we're actually going to focus a lot on temperature. And troubleshooting here is a whole area on its own. But as an example, I put two parameters for soap making that play a big role in troubleshooting. And this is temperature and mixing. Now, I'm not saying that this is the only troubleshooting of soap making, but I would say this is two very important parts of troubleshooting when it comes to soap making. So if we take the first one, temperature is very important. Why is that? Because high temperature means faster saponification. So the saponification reaction happens faster. Faster saponification also means faster trace. So your soap reaches trace faster. And what is trace? Trace is when we have different types of trace, but trace is when your oils and lye have emulsified completely. They have turned into soap and it starts thickening up. So we have light trace, medium trace, and heavy trace. Light trace looks like that on the picture. It's basically when it starts sticking on the stick blender and it almost feels like a heavy cream. You know, when you make dessert at home and you have heavy cream, that's the consistency of the light trace in soap making. Now, light trace is exactly what you want to achieve, because if you achieve more than that, then you start working in an area that is quite dangerous. You're starting working in an area where you have a very high risk of your soap solidifying so fast that you don't have time to pour it into the mold. So always work with light trace. Now, here's the thing with stirring. Higher stirring also means faster saponification, as we saw before with temperature. But at the same time, this is the part that a lot of people don't actually see. Higher stirring also means better emulsification. What is emulsification? When you mix your oils and lye solution together and they become one. They become soap. So you actually do need good mixing, because if you don't mix well, you might have partial saponification. This is basically when you create a soap that is solid but has some areas that are actually liquidy and moist, because oils and lye, they haven't reacted well together, and that creates partial gel and partial emulsification. That's very, very annoying. So it's all about finding the sweet spot where you mix enough so that you create soap, but not too much, so that you will reach basically a heavy trace where your soap will basically thicken up so fast that you don't have time to pour it into the mold. Okay, that's why temperature and stirring is so important. Cool. So let's say that you're working with certain essential oils, certain fragrance oils that are really, really accelerate trace. Then one thing that you can do there is work at low temperature. And what do I mean by low temperature? You know, when you have your coconut oil and your shea butter, you first need to melt them over a double boiler. You add your olive oil, your castor oil, or whatever other oils you have. And then you have to let them cool down. And you also have to let your lye solution cool down. So I like to mix them, I like to let them cool down at around 30, 32 degrees Celsius. Because I've seen that I always take mixing too far. Well, at least you sure that you're reaching trace, and you sure that you have a great emulsification. So I always like to mix my oils solution and my lye solution at a relatively low temperature. So I like to use around 32 degrees Celsius, and I like to work with both the lye solution and the oil solution to be at similar low temperature. If one of them is at 30 degrees and the other one is at 45, that's a problem, because then you might actually get partial emulsification. You don't want them to be at exactly the same temperature. That's quite difficult. Uh, but you want them to be at around the same similar temperature, plus minus 2 degrees, 3 degrees, but not like extreme difference. So if you work at low similar temperatures, you have better control over your soap butter, because then you have time to add your essential oils. You have time to add your additives. You have time to split your butter into three if you want to add different colorants. Because a lot of times, a lot of people, once they start splitting their butter and they're adding their colorants, the butter has already solidified. I tried essential oils that apparently increase the trace and then the clay, very well mixed, but it's quite challenging to reduce the clumps, a bit frustrating too. So temperature is important, closer to 30 degrees, amazing. Yes, and one other thing that you can do here is not only work at low temperature, but also add your essential oils at the very end. I've seen a lot of people adding their essential oils quite fast in the soap butter, so you don't need to do that. First, because essential oils do speed up saponification a lot, especially certain ones, like certain floral ones, or certain citrusy ones like litsea cubeba, and so on. So once your soap butter reaches light trace and it's ready to be poured out into the mold, then add your essential oil blend, mix really fast, and then add it into your mold. So basically add your essential blend at the very, very end. So don't add it early on, because that could create problems. So temperature is key here. Temperature is key to have better control over your soap butter. And stirring is also very important, because here you might feel like, oh, if you have to find the sweet spot, because if you don't stir a lot, you will end up not having great emulsification. If you stir too much, you might go into the medium or thick trace, which can be a bit difficult afterwards to work with. But you should always make sure you stirred enough that you reach at least light trace and that you have proper emulsification. And the same goes with other skincare products like hand creams. Why are hand creams important? Because hand cream is basically the emulsification of water. You have a water phase and you have an oil phase. The oil phase contains, for example, shea butter or beef tallow, and certain other additives like provitamin B5 and so on. And then you mix your oil phase with the water phase, but you have to mix them at a similar temperature, because if they are in different temperatures, you will end up getting separation. So your oils and your water solution will not bind well together. So temperature is very, very important. Cool. And a lot of people have been asking me about the soap hub. And here I'm very happy to see actually a lot of people who joined the video course that has 20 video courses. Some of you are also in this chat actually, and the soap hub too have been sending me some great messages that they have been transforming their soap making, and I'm very happy to see that. And not only their soap making, but also their skincare making, because they've been making face creams and foot creams and so on, shampoo, lip balm, deodorant, and other things that are included in the course. And just for you guys to know that next week is my birthday, and it's been 1 year since I turned 31 years old. So I'm having my video course at 31% off for 2 days, basically. So it starts on June 24th and it ends at June 25th. And I have the link in my bio if you want to sign up to the waitlist. So you need to sign up to the waitlist to basically claim your 31% off offer. And you can find the waitlist in the description below. So let me read your comments. I have found with fragrances that accelerate very quickly, I add light trace and gently steer by hand. Yeah, that's also possible. So once you reach light trace and then you add your essential oils, you can steer by hand. But if you try to steer by hand before that, so when you have your oils and lye solution, that can be quite cumbersome. It might take a lot of time. I would like to, but I spend so much on buying oils and equipments, but I would love to join. Yes, that's a common problem. A lot of people spend so much money on oils and equipment. As you saw before, this guy, William, who spent $1,500 on oils that he didn't need. And I'm going to talk about that as well. When I join your video course, do I have ongoing access to Soap Hub? You have access to Soap Hub forever, and you also have access to all the updates, because ever since I launched the video course, I have made quite a few updates in Soap Hub, and you will basically are going to be getting all the updates too. I turned 50 this November. Wow, amazing. Then it's a bit early to say happy birthday. But happy early birthday, Perry. Thank you so much. Happy birthday soon. Thank you, Michelle. The course is well worth it. I also love the book and the Soap Hub and the community. I'm very glad to hear that. Will adding beeswax or calendula cause saponification to happen faster, for it to thicken faster? Yes. So here's the thing with beeswax and calendula. Beeswax is a great ingredient, not for saponification. So it won't actually really contribute to saponification. It won't speed up the saponification. Beeswax itself, it will basically make your soap harder because it's a very solid wax. But you cannot add too much beeswax. I have added beeswax 2-3% max. I've heard some people adding 5%. But the thing with beeswax you should know is that it's full of unsaponifiables. It has a high concentration of unsaponifiables because it's a wax, meaning it has a high concentration of substances that do not saponify. So that's why you cannot add a high concentration of beeswax. So the only reason you add beeswax is because it's a very solid wax. It will add some hardness to your soap, and it also has these unsaponifiables that might feel a bit nourishing to the skin, but it doesn't saponify, it doesn't contribute to saponification at all. I love the ebook already. Thank you, Theodora. So awesome, Perry. Happy birthday. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Cool. So let's go to the next one. And the next one is a very common problem. And here we will also tap into formulation. And we will look at different oils. So let's talk about dreaded orange spots. Dreaded orange spots is basically when your oils in your soap oxidize. And then when they oxidize, they go rancid. And when they go rancid, they look like that, basically, as you see in the picture. They create these orange spots. They're not necessarily unhealthy for you, but it's not aesthetically beautiful, and it might also have an off smell. So here's what we do for that. And here we will also get into some people talking about that they spend a lot of time in oil selection. So we are going to get into that right now. So as you can see, olive oil is high in oleic acid and low in linoleic acid. Now, linoleic acid is the reason why you get dreaded orange spots. Linoleic acid is the reason why we have oxidation. And why is that? It's a polyunsaturated oil. Basically, it has two double bonds. And the more double bonds an oil have, the more unstable it is, the more prone to oxidation it is. Therefore, oils that are high in linoleic acid, they're very prone to oxidation and very likely to reach rancidity. So olive oil, great, let's go for it. High oleic sunflower oil, amazing, let's go for it. It's sunflower oil, it's not your regular sunflower oil from the supermarket. It's sunflower oil that has been treated to have low concentration of linoleic acid and high concentration of olive oil. Avocado oil, great, let's go. High oleic, low linoleic. Macadamia oil, also high oleic, low linoleic. I'm going to talk about these two in a moment, actually. But let's look about the rest. Then we have other oils like rice bran oil, sweet almond oil, canola oil, rapeseed oil. Those have a higher concentration of linoleic acid, and therefore they have a medium risk of rancidity. But not only that, we have certain oils like grapeseed oil that is also a bit expensive, pumpkin seed oil, rosehip oil that are quite expensive. Those have a very high concentration of linoleic acid and therefore a very high risk of rancidity. That's why I have fallen into this trap before of saying, wait a minute, grapeseed oil sounds very fancy. It sounds very exotic. I would love to make soap with grapeseed oil. Guess what? Not only will you pay more money and pay for something that is expensive, but you will get a soap that has dreaded orange spots because this one has a very high concentration of linoleic acid. And this is exactly what I mean, that most of the oils you see online, you don't need them. They're oils that will cause more trouble than good. If you actually want to use some of these oils, if you want to use sunflower oil, because I know sunflower oil and rapeseed oil are very cheap. I understand that. And if you want to use them, I would recommend using them at the maximum concentration of 10%. Safflower oil, yeah, what about safflower oil? Safflower oil, that's also high in linoleic acid. I don't remember the exact percentage, but it's also quite high. So rapeseed oil and sunflower oil, if you want to use them because they're very cheap, use them at the maximum concentration of 10% and the rest olive oil. So don't substitute all of your olive oil with sunflower oil because that can be a bit problematic. Honey has the healing and skin conditioning factor. The beeswax is only good to harden the soap. Beeswax does tend to clog skin pores. Yes, if you use a high amount of it. That's true. So, cool. That's all about oil selection. Now, I know I said use something with a high concentration of olive oil, oleic acid, and a low concentration of linoleic acid. But remember that you also have certain oils like avocado oil and macadamia oil that, you know, they're basically the same as olive oil. They don't add any extra properties compared to olive oil. You can see from the fatty acid profile, they have the high concentration of oleic acid and low concentration of linoleic acid, just like olive oil. They might have some vitamins extra. They might have vitamin E, vitamin A, vitamin K, some antioxidants, but those do not survive saponification because saponification happens in a high pH environment, a very alkaline environment that is very harsh. The lye solution is very caustic. And the reason why it's very caustic, it's because it's very alkaline. So as you can imagine, when something really alkaline, when you add oils into something very alkaline, you operate in an environment that is very harsh, and that harsh environment, in this harsh environment, vitamins and antioxidants do not really survive. These all charts are awesome. Yes, thank you. These are all part of Soap Hub. I made this myself, all of it. So Let me just show you here. Where is it? So you hear this animation. Here you can see basically the chemistry of saponification, and I'm going to talk about why lye is actually caustic. And all your oils, whether it's coconut oil, olive oil, whether it's coconut oil, olive oil, shea butter, castor oil, beef tallow, chemically they look like this. They look like that here. So they are basically a mixture of triglycerides, meaning you have a glycerol molecule connected with 3 fatty acids. For example, olive oil is a glycerin molecule connected with 3 oleic acid fatty acids. And here's what happened. We have sodium hydroxide that comes, and sodium hydroxide is lye. And basically, sodium hydroxide consists of sodium and hydroxide. And the hydroxyl group here in chemistry is the very reactive group, is the group that wants to react with everything and reacts very strongly with everything. And that's why it can burn you if you basically don't treat lye correctly. So when sodium hydroxide is here, it basically attacks this bond, it breaks it, and then the fatty acids will react with the sodium, and that's how you get soap. And that's how you get soap and glycerin, because soap making has the amazing effect that not only do you get soap, but you also get glycerin. And glycerin is amazing that because it's moisturizing. And I will tell you something, guys. Through my process of posting videos and everything, I've been learning a lot from you as well. So some of you in the comments the other day told me that industrially, when you make soap, you use the triple milling technique. And during that technique, industrially, they remove glycerin. So industrial cold process or like hot process soap made with olive oil or palm oil and sodium hydroxide does not contain glycerin because all glycerin has been removed. And you know why they do that? So that your soap is more long lasting, because glycerin makes it a bit softer. And industrially, they don't want to have a soft soap because it's not long lasting. So, but at the same time, that leads to a soap that is slightly harsher for the skin because it does not contain any glycerin. So that's something that I didn't know, and I learned actually from you. I'm in the USA and I cannot seem to get access to Soap Hub. Is there a way for me to do this? Yes, absolutely. So the Soap Hub is part of the video course, and you get access to Soap Hub for life plus 20 video lessons on soap and skincare making. So next week, it's a 31% off offer because of my birthday. But you have to sign up to the waitlist to claim this offer, and the waitlist is on the description below. I add jojoba oil and argan oil, and they work for me. Good. How much jojoba oil are you adding, Claudia? Because jojoba oil is a liquid wax ester. It's actually a wax, but it's a liquid wax, and it does not saponify well. So if you're adding jojoba oil, I can imagine you're adding maximum 5%. Or how much do you add? Argan oil, yes, works well, but it has a medium risk of rancidity. I used to have to sit in libraries reading 100 books to find this type of information. Great information found here. Thank you. I'm glad to hear that. Have you used sodium lactate in soap to harden it? No, I haven't, but I've used other salts, just normal salt like sodium chloride works really well. And Himalayan salt works well. Himalayan salt is one of these basically more extreme recipes, and it's a very unique recipe. I make soap with 10% Himalayan salt. It's also on the video course, and this is an amazing recipe because it's very unique. You have to have a much higher superfat concentration than usual. You have to have a more diluted lye concentration. You have to have a very high concentration of coconut oil, 50%, because basically Himalayan salt drags down the lather. It reduces the lather a lot. So you need to add coconut oil to compensate for that. But it really needs to a great soap. I want to join the soap hub now. Can you have an early happy birthday? Yeah, I mean, if you want to join now, you're welcome, but you're gonna pay the full price. But if you wait until June 24th, you're gonna pay 31% off. So I would recommend you waiting a few more days. Why can't I access Soap Hub? I live in the USA. You have to basically you get access to Soap Hub through my video course. That you can find the waitlist in the link in bio, and then you have access to Soap Hub forever. Cool. So let me just go here. And now I have something here that we can work on. And now I basically decided to also make a bit of hand cream because I don't have a lot of hand cream left. And by doing so, I can show you the importance of temperature. So I've already measured my ingredients. I've already measured everything we need to make hand cream. And it basically looks like that. So here you can choose different recipes, shampoo bar, conditioner bar. You can adjust how much bat size you want to make. If you want to make 100, 200, 300 grams, I'm going to make 300 grams for this one. And Soap Hub will also tell you how to adjust your hand cream to make it into a face cream, how to adjust it to make it into a foot cream, and how to adjust it to how to replace shea butter with beef tallow if you're working with beef tallow. So here, by making this hand cream, we are actually going to see the importance of temperature. And here, basically, a hand cream consists of 71% water. You hear that right? 71% water, and then shea butter, glycerin. Shea butter and glycerin will basically add moisturizing and conditioning properties to your hand cream. Then you have BTMS 50. BTMS 50 comes from coconut oil, and BTMS 50 is an amazing emulsifier. What is an emulsifier? An emulsifier is a substance that connects oil and water. So if I take olive oil, mix it with water, as you all know, it won't mix. It will create two layers. So we add an emulsifier to basically mix them together, and that's what BTMS 50 does. Cetyl alcohol, that also comes from coconut oil, and it adds thickening to your hand cream. So you might want to increase that, as you will see if you want to make foot cream in the foot cream recipe. Provitamin B5, otherwise known as panthenol. This is an amazing ingredient. It's added for skin repair. Essential oil, you can use whatever you want. I actually use this hand cream as a face cream as well, so I do not use a very strong concentration of essential oil because I just don't want to smell very intensely, but this is something personal. You can choose the amount of essential oil you need. I like to use a preservative because it's important, and I use a GeoGuard preservative, which is organic certified preservative. I used to make hand cream without any preservatives, but I used to store it in the fridge. I don't recommend that because you need a preservative. I never had any problems with it, even though I stored it in the fridge. Because I stored it in the fridge, everything went well, but I don't recommend it. The right thing to do is add a preservative, because where there is water, there is microbial contamination. And who can tell me why cold process soap does not need preservatives? Write in the chat. Who can tell me that cold process soap does not need preservatives? I'm gonna turn on my double boiler while you do. Because it's only oils, because the water evaporates. High pH, high pH. Amazing. I should know the answer, but there's too much that I don't know. I don't remember. True high pH. So high alkaline environment, great. So it's a combination of all of these. First of all, it's high pH, as you all pointed out, because high pH is not a desirable environment for soap, for microbes to grow. It's the same thing as you will see making deodorant, as we have also up here. That's how deodorant works as well. We raise basically the pH. pH goes up and the bacteria cannot grow in our armpits, and that's why the bacteria cannot grow and they won't create bad smell. The other thing is water activity. So in cold process soap, during curing, most of the water from the lye solution evaporates. And when there is low water activity, there is very low risk of microbial contamination. So both high pH and low water activity are reasons of cold process soap being self-preservative. That's why I love cold process soap. Panthenol, interesting. I'll check that out. Yeah, that's also known as provitamin B5. Provitamin B5, it's used in many different ingredients. I use it in shampoo, conditioner bar, and it works perfectly fine. Can you do a session on the different types of preservatives? Yes, that could be something we could look at another point. Definitely, yeah. Cool. So let me just go check my water, my double boiler. Optugen, yes. Is there any natural preservatives? That's a really good question. There are some, but they're not as effective, unfortunately. Some people will tell you that you can use vitamin E, as I also have it here. But vitamin E, it's a common perception here. Vitamin E is not a preservative; it's an antioxidant, so it helps with certain oils not getting oxidized. But it's not, unfortunately, it's not a preservative. It just helps with whatever oils you have in your hand cream to not get oxidized, because you can still get oxidation, as we saw before, like dreaded orange spots. You can still get oxidation in hand creams, face creams, and so on. There, you do not have your oils into a soap form. You have your oils in their pure form. And there you can add vitamin E. Vitamin E plays a role in products like that, because you don't have a high alkaline environment in a hand cream. You do not have a high alkaline environment in a lip balm. So their vitamin E is actually well preserved. Let me know your questions. I would love to answer any questions you might have. For this hand cream, I'm going to use just plain lavender. Wow. What is your favorite essential oil combination? What's your favorite essential oils? Write down in the chat. I would love to know. My personal favorite essential oils is a combination of pine, floral, and a bit citrusy. So foresty, basically pine and floral goes very, very well together. If you are interested in essential oil blends, I recommend a book from Mandy Aftel. So let me just write it here. Mandy Aftel. So Mandy Aftel, she has wrote 2 phenomenal books on perfumery and essential oils that you can also use for soap making. And those basically, they're very well designed. They're designed to be very long lasting, and they're designed with great intention. So she explains each oil, each essential oil, very, very accurately, why we add black pepper, why we add this, why we add that. So I love it. Lemon, floral, and earth tones. That's a good one. Euxil PA 9010. This preservative tolerates high temperatures, making a good fit for conditioners. Great. Rosemary and tea tree are amazing too. They are fragrances are insane. Yes. What fragrance that men love the most? I like citrus and any fruits. Yeah, citrus is great. From citrusy, I recommend Litsea cubeba. Litsea cubeba is one of those essential oils that is citrusy, and it's actually quite long lasting. Remember, essential oils, there are 3 categories. We have the top notes. Those are of low molecular weight. They're very light, and top notes are the ones that you smell first. They're the ones that evaporate faster. Then we have middle notes. Those are the ones that are of a slightly higher molecular weight than top notes, and they're the ones that you smell afterwards. And then you have base notes. Those are the ones that are very heavy, of very high molecular weight. They evaporate very, very slowly, and they are very long lasting. So top notes are usually the citrusy ones and the spicy ones. Let me just have it here so that you can watch better. So top notes are the citrusy ones and the spicy ones, while middle notes are usually the floral ones and the herbal ones. So top notes can be sweet orange essential oil, lemon essential oil, grapefruit essential oil, litsea cubeba essential oil, spicy ones, ginger, coriander, black pepper. Those are considered top notes. Then you have middle notes like the floral ones. Floral ones are jasmine, ylang ylang, rose, and so on. Herbal ones, lavender, pine essential oil, and so on. And then you have the base notes. These are mostly the earthy ones, like sandalwood, patchouli, vetiver, and some sweet ones like vanilla essential oil. And by having this idea, by separating essential oils like that, you can actually design your essential oil blend to make it long lasting by incorporating the right amount of base note, by incorporating patchouli, vetiver in combination with your top and middle notes to make them long lasting. And you have to make, basically, you have to make essential oils that fit well together. Otherwise, your essential oil blend might have an off smell. Okay, let me read your comments. I only know that I'm not a fan of floral scents. I've spent too much money on essential oils and have sensitivities to fragrance. Not sure about essential oil yet. So still more to try. Yes. Ylang ylang actually causes sensitivity from the floral one as well. So Ylang ylang essential oil. If you have sensitivity, Michelle, do not buy cinnamon essential oil or any fragrance oil that contains cinnamaldehyde, because this can be really irritating for the skin. I don't have sensitive skin, but I have gotten skin irritation by cinnamon. Cinnamon is a very tricky essential oil. What's the big difference between hot, pour, and cold process? Which one is best? So hot process, you apply heat for the saponification to happen. You have soap ready the next day. You don't need to cure it. Cold process, you don't apply heat for the saponification to happen. You let it basically cure for minimum 4 to 6 weeks. It leads to a smoother soap, better color, and better scent. That's my favorite one. Melt and pour, I don't consider melt and pour soap making. Melt and pour is safe for children and beginners, but you basically melt down somebody else's soap, somebody else's batch, you melt it, and then you pour it into the mold with your oil, with your essential oils of choice. So yeah. Lavender, patchouli, rosemary, citrus. Great. I combine floral as in jasmine and sandalwood. I got fragrant book. Great. Fragrant from Mandy Aftel. That's a really good one. I have read this book a million times. Orange, ylang ylang, and bergamot. Orange is a great one. Good to know. Thank you. Perry, great job once again. I learned something about temperature and 3x milk soap. Thank you. Your workshops are held in Denmark, right? That's right. Yes. But I don't do them very, very often. The physical workshops require a lot of preparation, because you have to prepare a lot of materials, a lot of oils and equipment. You have to actually have all of the equipment. I have a lot of, stainless steel bowls, but you also need a lot of blenders. Because if you have 10 people, you actually need 10 blenders, or you need people to share blenders. So physical workshops take a bit extra effort, but they're very rewarding. People love them, and I really enjoy them. Finally done on the phone. I'm able to listen now. Yes, cool. So right now I have my basically my oil phase of the hand cream melting down, and this will reach around 70 to 75 degrees Celsius. I'm going to check it now, and then I'm going to put my water to heat, because those have to be in a similar temperature. Otherwise, we will get separation, and we don't want that. We want a great hand cream. So let me go do that. Very melt and pour method has oil acceptance issues, meaning the pre-made soap base won't absorb very much more oils than it already has. Yes, that's correct. So you can basically just add essential oils and any colorants. That's all. You melt down the soap base, you add your essential oils, your colorants, and you pour it into the mold. That's all. I would to know your understanding in glycerin. I've seen a video where mentioned that some factories make soap and extract the glycerin. I'm curious why and how they do it. Great. They use the triple milling technique. This is something we cannot use at home because we need industrial equipment. But what basically the triple milling technique is that they make soap just like we do at home using oils and lye. And then they create these very long soap noodles that they pass through a press. And they do that basically 3 times. That's why it's called triple milling technique. And through that process, they also separate the glycerin. The reason they separate the glycerin is because glycerin can soften the soap, and they don't want that. They want a very long-lasting and hard soap. And in order to make a very long-lasting soap, they remove the glycerin and they sell it separately. But it's also, glycerin is actually nice to have because glycerin adds protection and moisturizing to your soap. And especially if you have sensitive skin, glycerin is very important. What glycerin does is that it's a humectant, so it traps moisture into your skin. That's why it's used everywhere in hand creams, face creams, foot creams. They have glycerin inside. Right now, we make hand cream with glycerin. So cool. I have here Melt and pour. Please, can you share a basic shampoo bar recipe for hair, please? I have, yes, I have a shampoo bar, but it's complicated. I cannot just share it here. It took me actually almost 9 months to make the shampoo bar recipe, but I have it in my video course, as well as a conditioner bar for the hair. Must be why my 100% coconut oil soap isn't drying. Are you talking, Carmen, because it has glycerin? And I guess you must also have high superfat concentration. He has a, if you buy the book is there. He has a bar shampoo on his book. I just made it. Oh, great. The videos say they extract glycerin and they sell it, and also say the soap adding fragrance in. Yeah. Okay, cool. Guys, so here I have my water face, just water, plain, warm water. It's around 70 degrees right now. Here I have my shea butter glycerin, which will add conditioning and humectant properties to my hand cream. And I also have BTMS 50, that is an emulsifier that brings water and oils together. Then we have cetyl alcohol, that is a thickener. It comes from coconut oil, and that gives the thickening properties to the hand cream. And provitamin B5, that is amazing for skin repair, especially if your hands create little wounds during the winter, for example. Then you really need provitamin B5. So I'm gonna go ahead and mix the oil phase with the water phase together and make hand cream. So in the beginning, it's super liquidy. My hand cream is liquid, completely liquid. But as you will see afterwards, it will become super thick and beautiful as the temperature goes down. Olive oil, honey, lemon juice. Just a little lemon juice to emulsify the honey and olive oil. Great. Yeah. Let me know in the comments below, what is the last soap you made? I want to know the last soap or skincare product you guys made. And here it's very important that I'm mixing the oil phase and the water phase at similar temperature, similar warm temperature. Here we're working at high temperature, not just as we do in soap where we're working at low. Here we're working at 70 degrees Celsius. And we want a high temperature because that's what works best for emulsification. And we want them to be at similar temperature because if they are not, that might lead to separation, and then we're not going to get our hand cream. You made a sour gel. Wow. Perry, have you made the lotion without essential oils? I have to use unscented skincare, but it might not smell good. As you've said that you call it the scent of soap, sometimes pleasant, sometimes not. Cool. Thank you, Michelle. Yes, I've made this hand cream without anything, and it smells, to me, it really doesn't smell of anything. I agree that soap has a smell, but hand cream, I wouldn't say it smells of anything, and it works perfectly fine. I do add essential oil, but I add very, very little because I don't like strong scent in my hand cream. I don't like strong scent because sometimes I even use it on my face, and I don't like to have it on my face and having a very strong scent. So, and I've also made it without a scent, and it works perfectly fine. Yeah. So I highly recommend you do that. Sea salt and seaweed soap. That's amazing. My last soap was coconut soap with glycerin, water, and lye. Did you already say how much superfat you use, Carmen? I might have missed that. Because if you use high concentration of coconut oil, I assume you also use a high superfat. I made shampoo bar and dish soap. Thank you for that. Did you use the recipes from the ebook? That's amazing because shampoo bar and dish soap, they're great recipes. Olive oil, coconut oil, honey, eucalyptus oil, leaves, rosemary oil, and leaves. That sounds great. I would also add a bit of shea butter there to add creaminess, but still, your soap can work well with olive oil and coconut oil. I guess, how much olive oil did you use? Because how much olive oil and coconut oil did you use on that? My last soap is the dish soap formula from your ebook. How did it go, Theodora? I have made beautiful hand cream with cucumbers oil, which smells great. Any fragrance? Oh, that's cucumber. Okay, I've never made soap like that, hand cream like that. Salt soap, great. If I add rosemary to the hand cream, will still repel mosquitoes? Curious about it. Actually, I don't know. I haven't tried to see what's the effect with mosquitoes. Maybe, yeah. I wish I can send a picture of my dish soap. I just made it. It's so cute. That's. You can always send me an email. I read all the emails you send me, and I try to reply to all of them. I grow most of my own materials I use in soaps, except essentials, except essential oils and fragrances. Wow, that's great. I use the recipes, all of it. I'm not going to make soap from other videos I watched. I will mess up. Last soap batch I made was oat milk with honey. That's also a good one. So the hand cream starts becoming actually thick right now. That means the noise is gonna stop as well. And the thing here is that we have not added essential oil, the GeoGuard preservative, and vitamin E. Those are the three things that we haven't added yet. Can someone tell me why I haven't added those yet? I tried to use 55% coconut oil, 45% olive oil. so it takes less time to cure. I would tell you that, yeah, maybe you're using a high concentration of coconut oil. Coconut oil, I wouldn't use it more than 30% in normal soap, unless you want something that is very, very cleansing. Then yes. But this one, as I see it right here, it seems like a very high concentration of coconut oil. I would lower your coconut oil concentration and add a bit of shea butter or beef tallow to make it more creamy and to make it more long lasting, because shea butter and beef tallow, they have a high concentration of stearic acid. Beef tallow has a high concentration of palmitic acid, and it leads to a very stable lather and a very long lasting lather. Because they're temperature sensitive. There we go. Thank you. I liked Perry. It was so lovely. Poured it into individual cavity molds and used it with litsea, patchouli, geranium blend. It is so lovely. That's amazing. That's actually a great blend. Patchouli, geranium, litsea. That's a great combination. So geranium actually is both floral, but it also has a citrusy aspect. It has a citrusy character. So by combining geranium with litsea, you're combining basically something, the citrusy aspect of geranium connects very well with the citrusy aspect of litsea cubeba. So that's a great combination. Cool. So I am actually ready. Oops. I am ready to add my other ingredients. So I am ready to add my my vitamin E, my essential oil, and my yogurt preservative. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with the yogurt preservative, where I'm adding 1.5 grams for my recipe. And then I'm gonna go ahead with my essential oil. I'm just gonna add a little bit, not too much, because I don't want a strong scent for this one. And then a bit of vitamin E, which is an antioxidant, and that's 0.3 grams. And now mixing, and I'm ready to basically pour into my tin cans. Cool. I'll stop with the noise now. I think you guys had a lot of that. And here I've put these tin cans in boiling water to sterilize them. So now I'm going to add my hand cream inside. That looks like that. Wow. I've been using this hand cream for such a long time, and it works perfectly fine. And as you can see, you can adjust it for a face cream. You can adjust it for a foot cream as well. So yeah. And then whatever is left, I'm gonna use afterwards. Here's the hand cream that I'm gonna use for myself. Let me read your comments. Oh, you add the preservatives and additives when temperature is lower. Exactly, because they're heat sensitive. I also made lip balm. I messed up on that because I thought I used jojoba oil, but I didn't check my bottle. I ended up using castor oil. It's good, but it's not hard enough. Okay, yeah. Castor oil might be a bit too thick and it might feel a bit sticky, actually. That's why we don't also add too much castor oil, both in soap and other products, because it might feel a bit sticky. Geranium is very nice in soaps. I use it often. Yes, geranium is good, but geranium does lead to trace acceleration. So make sure you actually work at low similar temperatures to avoid that. Do you have sunscreen cream in your book? So I will wait to make it till next week. I do not have a sunscreen recipe in my book. I do make sunscreen at home. But the reason why I decided not to put it into the book is because I cannot make any SPF claims. As you know, in order to make SPF claims, I would need to do clinical trials that are required by law. So I could potentially put it in the book as just a sunscreen lotion, but I cannot claim that it has SPF or sun protection unless I do certain clinical trials, basically, to test it and see that it actually works. Temperature has to cool before adding vitamins. Exactly. I also made sunscreen. It's my favorite by far. I have a pool, and here in Florida is super hot. Love the sunscreen. Thank you. Okay, so you made, because I have a YouTube video where I make sunscreen. So I guess you're talking about that. I add 1 teaspoon of salt and sugar for hardness. Cool. That's great. Sugar is more for bubbles, but salt is the one you add for hardness. Is there any between using natural and synthetic vitamin E on the skin? I only know of natural vitamin E. I don't know of synthetic vitamin E. So the vitamin E, at least that I always buy, it's natural. Can anyone share where to get a good weight scale? Mine doesn't do half-gram increments like Perry's. You can find one in Amazon. You can even find some very cheap ones that are double-digit. I will not give up. Please, can you soon do a recipe live for hair soap, bar, and conditioning? Yes, but you can definitely. I haven't done any live or video on that, but you can find them in the ebook. These are also recipes that took me a really long time and a lot of failed batches to optimize. It took me more than 9 months, especially for shampoo bar. Any advice for when clay reacts within saponification and avoid areas where it looks more pale or color different? I've read this could be due to temperature, so how to control it while waiting 24 to 48 hours? So if you get different colors of clay in your soap, that could be because of clumps. That could be because clay created clumps in certain areas. And in order to avoid that, you have to basically pre-mix your clay in some oil before adding it into your soap butter to make sure you have a homogeneous dispersion. Then some clays are also light sensitive, so they degrade if you cure your soap next to sunlight. I know this. Actually, I was selling my soaps in a store here in Copenhagen, and they took my soaps and they put them close to the window next to sunlight. And some of them actually changed color because they were right next to sunlight and the color got degraded. That's the thing with clays and also with natural colorants, they get easily degraded due to light. I understand for sunscreen. Yes, but I still have a YouTube video that you can check, Mary, where I make sunscreen. I make soap in my workshop in the mountain and I use the poly cement floor as a large mold. Wow. Locking, unlocking frame. I went old school to do large. Wow. Wow, that's amazing. I would love to see a picture of that, or even a video. I would love to see that. That's fascinating. You do that. I've never met anyone who does that. One of my goals is to actually go to places where they make Aleppo soap, Castille soap, Marseille soap, and interview the soap makers there, and then make a video and post it on YouTube for everyone to see, because it will be an amazing experience to interview people who make soaps like that. I got your sunscreen from your video on YouTube. That's right. Perry, I saw charcoal soap on your website and charcoal was listed as the first ingredient. It was a beautiful black color. I thought that for 1,000 grams of oils that I should not use more than a few. Yes, so I usually go for 1 to 2 tablespoons per pound of oils. When it comes to charcoal, charcoal is a very, very stable colorant. Is a natural colorant, and from the natural colorant is the most stable I know of. It's very long lasting. It lasts forever. It does not get oxidized because it's already fully oxidized because it's activated charcoal. So I would say from natural colorants, charcoal is my favorite one, and I like to add around 1 tablespoon to 2 tablespoons per pound of oils, depending on how intense you want the color to be. Note that charcoal soap might stain your sink a bit, but of course, if you wash it afterwards, it goes away, so it doesn't stain it permanently. But when you wash with charcoal soap, you might see a few black stubs on the sink, especially if you use a lot of it. So when you make sunscreen, you can add yogurt as well. I wonder. I will look for your sunscreen video. Yeah, I mean, sunscreen does not contain any water, so I do not add yogurt. I just add. You can make sunscreen with shea butter, jojoba oil, a bit of coconut oil, beeswax, and then you need zinc oxide, which is your active ingredient, and some vitamin E for as an antioxidant. But it doesn't have any water, so I don't personally add a preservative. Do you sell your soap at all? Yes, of course. So you can also check it in my website. But I do sell my soaps. That's my brand here. And I ship them in Denmark and in Europe, basically. So Sweden and Netherlands, Germany. But I mainly get orders from here, of course. After making small batches in the kitchen, I started watching series on YouTube, making Aleppo soap. Now I do it that way. Wow, that's fantastic. That I would love to see a picture again. Thanks, Perry. Honestly, you don't know how much it means to me. Perry, I really hope one day I can bless you in return the way you have blessed me, and keep blessing me with knowledge and so much love and professionalism you do and have. Thank you so much. God bless you. I appreciate you sharing this knowledge and look forward to taking your course. Thank you, Perry. Blessings to you. Thank you. God bless you, Theodora. I think Perry is a blessing for me too. Thank you, Perry, from all of us. Thank you, guys. God bless you. Thank you so much. How do you pronounce your brand's name? How did this start? Name idea. It's called Kea. It's a Danish word meaning beloved. Kea. I think Michelle, you also asked that. So it's Kea. So you don't pronounce the J, you don't pronounce the R, because Danish is like that. So yeah, Kea. That's how you call it. Cool, guys. So thank you so much for joining this live. I always enjoy these lives with you, and basically did a lot today. We did a recap of the previous time. We talked about troubleshooting, temperature, mixing. We talked about DOS. We talked about oil selection overwhelm. We made a hand cream. and it went amazing. Thank you so much, guys. Again, I'm really happy to see a lot of positive comments from all of you. I'm really happy to see a lot of you have been transforming your soap making and going from basically becoming a type 2 soap maker, which is exactly what I want for you to become, a type 2 soap maker. And if you want to join, June 24th, as you know, I turned 31 years old, and I'm having a 31% off offer for 2 days only. So June 24th and June 25th is the 2 days where I'm having a 31% off on my video course, which has 20 video lessons across soap and skincare making, other skincare making, access to Soap Hub, access to the private community, and of course, lifetime updates. And then in order to join, in order to get this offer, you have to sign up to the waitlist to claim the 31% off, and you will find the waitlist in the description below. Without further ado, guys, I'm very grateful for you. I'm very grateful for this live. That went great. I have one more live on Sunday, and there I will share my 31 reflections of soap making, 31 soap lessons that I have had through the years. And I would love to see you there. It's going to be this Sunday. It's going to be amazing seeing you there. Happy birthday. Thank you so much. Ευχαριστώ, παρακαλώ. Always so informative. Thank you for your time and all this. Thank you, Carmen. After making soap for 25 years, I'm still learning every day. Thank you so much. I also have a lot to learn from you. I mean, you make soap the traditional way, the Aleppo soap, on the floor. This is very, very, very unique. Will this live be uploaded? Yes, you will find it on YouTube. We will meet again next week. Yes, again on Sunday. And for those of you who join the private community and Soap Hub, we will also be online there every day. Πολύ ωραίο μάθημα, Perry. Thank you so much for joining, Nico. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hope to see you on Sunday too. Awesome channel. Thank you, guys. Thank you. You're awesome. You are awesome, guys. God bless you. I will see you next. I will see you Sunday. Hope you have a great rest of the day. Some people were watching from Australia. In Australia right now is around 1 o'clock in the morning. Thank you so much for staying all the way until now, so late to watch this live. I really appreciate that. And thank you for everyone who joining from the rest of the world, from Greece, South Africa, a lot from the US, from India. Thank you so much for joining. From Nigeria, thank you. God bless you. See you guys. Have a good one. Thank you, Michelle, from Indiana. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for being here. It's 2:35 in Australia. Wow. Thank you for joining. I really appreciate that, that you stayed so late for this. Thank you for joining. On Sunday, we will be actually a bit earlier, so maybe that's going to be better. Thank you so much. See you guys. You will find this live. It will be up on YouTube for you to find it and access it. The next live is on Sunday. You can also see it on YouTube. There is a notification there. Bye-bye. Really appreciate you guys. Thank you. See you. Bye-bye.